Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Recently we took an in-depth look into the new Range Rover Sport Supercharged and SVR. If you haven't seen those videos yet, check the link in the top right hand corner of the video. But for today's video, Land Rover has given us yet another opportunity to check out one of their latest products. This is the Range Rover HSE, the full-size brethren to the Range Rover Sport. It's also equipped with the supercharged 3-liter V6, so this is the first time we've actually been able to get behind the wheel of the V6. The other two have obviously been the supercharged V8s. As always guys, this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Range Rover. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test, and show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go and hop on in, start it up, let it run. In addition to a standard smart key entry system, the HSE features soft closing doors. Our tester is finished in Fuji white. Contrasting black or silver roof lines can be added depending on your main color choice. The Cirrus Oxford leather seats and ebony Cirrus interior theme is just one of many color combinations available alongside the optional ebony headliner. This one also features the standard figured Macassar wood finisher as one of 3 options, in addition to plenty of aluminum bits throughout. To start, just make sure you have the key fob within the interior, put your foot on the brake, and hit the dash mounted button to go. The latest generation Range Rover features electrically assisted, speed-sensitive variable ratio rack and pinion steering in place of the previous hydraulic system. The lighter, more direct steering behavior is largely thanks to a faster steering ratio and a big drop in vehicle weight compared to its predecessor. Compared to the Sport, the Range Rover is much more relaxed and comfortable in the way it hits the road. That's what was so cool about the Sports I've tested prior. They truly live up to their namesake. The Sport is far more fun to drive, it's more agile and communicative, but the Range Rover does a better job of being comfortable, isolating you from the environment, keeping things whisper quiet and very smooth. Their unique distinctions create 2 different vehicles and 2 different missions for 2 different types of clientele. The electric steering also contributes to improved fuel economy and reduced CO2 emissions by reducing the load on the engine. Gradual increases in steering effort with higher speeds increases precision. Like the Sport, the Range Rover also uses a 4-spoke leather-wrapped steering wheel, only this one is a little bit less sporty in a way and is slightly larger. It carries the same multifunction controls and satin bright work, but looks a little bit more mature and traditional. Delivering power to all 4 wheels through a permanent 4-wheel drive system is ZF's excellent 8 HP 70 8-speed automatic transmission. As we've discussed in previous videos, this ubiquitous gearbox is being widely used across a variety of makes and models, from Chrysler Group to Rolls-Royce and many in between. You select gears in this application through a knurled aluminum rotary dial in the center console. It's pretty self-explanatory, also seen in various Jaguar products. This is another difference between the Sport, which uses the sportier electronic shifter from the F-Type. You're able to shift manually via a set of steering wheel panels, which are even illuminated at night. Out of all the automatics I've driven, ZF's 8-speed is by far one of the most impressive that wasn't a dual-clutch setup. The Range Rover is said to have its own tuning, but it generally behaves similar to other applications. Shifts are so seamless thanks to the closely spaced ratios and take just 200 milliseconds. You'll hardly even notice them in normal driving. It also feels adaptive, as if the shifts occur quicker and quicker the harder you accelerate. Put the transmission into sport mode, the gears are held a little bit longer and everything becomes a little bit more responsive. When downshifting, subtle throttle blips add to the excitement and keep the engine in its sweet spot for faster response. With its taller overdrive gears, it's also more fuel efficient than previous 6-speeds. Our tester is equipped with the optional Vision Assist package, which is around an $1,800 option. In addition to adaptive xenon headlamps, front fog lamps, blind spot monitoring, auto-dimming side view mirrors, and more, you'll also have a 360-degree surround view camera system, which makes piloting a large vehicle a whole lot easier. So let's go and flip on the automatic bifunction HID headlamps, front and rear LED fog lamps, and the hazards. All 4 windows are fully automatic and feature sound insulated glass. Now let's go ahead and check out the exterior. Since 1970, the Range Rover was developed to be one of the most versatile vehicles you could buy, a premium SUV that was just as good on-road as it was off-road. The Range Rover is now in its fourth generation, which was introduced for 2013. Over the past few years, there's been a number of changes to broaden the appeal even further, including new, more efficient engine options, new trim levels, and even a new long wheelbase version. The Range Rover starts out at $83,495, and after adding the HSE package and a few other options, our tester comes in at $96,736, including destination. All Range Rovers are unmistakable in their presence, retaining the same general shape for over 40 years. The changes applied to the fourth generation is a modern reinterpretation of that classic style, combining a muscular and powerful silhouette with softer lines, shorter overhangs, and improved aerodynamics. Wraparound front and rear lighting adds a modern touch, featuring bifunction HID headlamps, available LED fog lamps, and LED tail lamps. Land Rover relocated the breather ports to the restyled clamshell hood to increase fording depth, which explains why there aren't any exposed fender vents. Air is drawn in between the inner and outer hood panels at the sides of the vehicle before flowing down into the intake system in the sides of the engine compartment. In their place, you'll find unique vent graphics on the front doors with satin silver lower trim that extends down the body and into the rear bumper. Near flush glazing of the A-pillars, side glass, and gloss black pillars highlight the signature floating roof. Separation edges in the tail lamps and D-pillars, along with optimized shaping of the door mirrors and rear spoiler, helps the Range Rover slip through the wind more efficiently, now achieving a coefficient of drag between 0.34 and 0.36 depending on the market. For customers desiring more individuality, a Range Rover can pretty much be built to order. There's 37 exterior paint options, including 22 for the autobiography, and 2 available contrasting roof colors in addition to the standard color match roof we have here. This is the first vehicle in its class to introduce an all-new aluminum chassis and body structure. Combined with a more advanced four-wheel drive system, the fourth generation Range Rover is lighter, more efficient, more refined, and delivers impressive overall performance. The structure consists of a one-piece body shell or monocoque that rides on an aluminum unibody joined to aluminum front and rear subframes. All of this creates a vehicle that's 39% lighter and 25% stiffer than before. The B-pillars are reinforced with composite material alongside high-strength aluminum side impact beams for improved crash safety without adding weight. The aluminum body panels, including the doors, are pressed as single units for reduced joints, improving integrity and simplifying assembly. For the most part, the aluminum is bonded and riveted together using more aerospace techniques versus traditional spot welding. Despite being slightly larger in some areas, the 4th generation Range Rover weighs about 800 pounds less than its predecessor, give or take some depending on trim level and equipment. The body shell alone saves nearly 400 pounds. Other weight savings measures include lightweight, high-strength steel seat structures, a sheet-molded composite tailgate, aluminum components for the final drive and suspension, not to mention lightweight magnesium castings for the instrument panel and front-end carrier. The Range Rover's Terrain Response 2 permanent four-wheel drive system makes it the most capable offering yet, featuring 5 different modes: General, Grass, Gravel, Snow, Mud, Ruts, Sand, and Rock Crawl. Now there's even an automatic mode that allows the terrain sensors to select an appropriate mode by modulating the engine, transmission, and locking center differential simultaneously. All of this happens in the background as the Range Rover's adaptive dynamic system monitors its movements at least 500 times per second. While General is more for daily use, the latter 4 pertain to off-roading. The transfer case offers both high and low range using a 2-speed fully synchronized system that allows the driver to switch between the modes at speeds up to 37 miles an hour. Torque is split 50-50 between the front and rear wheels by default, with the center differential being able to disperse as much as 100% of the available torque to the front or rear. The high range features a direct drive ratio of 1:1, while the low range ratio is 2.93:1, yielding the low crawl speed for off-roading and towing heavy trailers. The Range Rover's cross-linked 4-corner air suspension offers 10.2 inches of front-wheel travel and 12.2 inches of rear-wheel travel, leading to approach, breakover, and departure angles of up to 34.7, 29.6, and 23.3 degrees respectively, with around 11.6 inches of maximum ground clearance. That's about half an inch higher than before. Fording depth has been increased by nearly 8 inches and is now an impressive 35.4 inches. The air suspension is fully adjustable by simply pressing a button in the center console. There's 3 settings: Access, Normal, and Off-Road. The re-engineered air suspension also has significantly enhanced off-road capability by introducing an automatic system which varies between 2 ride heights, 1.6 inches and 2.95 inches when the off-road setting is selected, rather than the single 2-inch position of its predecessor. This allows the Range Rover the ability to drive up to 50 miles an hour while leaving the vehicle in off-road height, perfectly suited for rutted dirt roads and the like. Previously, the off-road height in general was limited to 31 miles an hour. The highest off-road setting, however, is still restricted to 31 miles an hour. If that's not cool enough, it even adjusts the ride height while crossing bodies of water to prevent the possibility of grounding. A system known as active lean control isolates the stabilizer bars and reduces the level of roll compensation when off-road conditions are detected. This allows greater wheel articulation, helping increase the contact patch with the terrain. Road handling has also been improved with active roll bars, variable dampers, and corner brake control. It can also tow a little over 7,700 pounds. Aerodynamic underfloor paneling, carefully placed deflectors, and a low-profile exhaust system helps improve fuel economy by reducing drag to create a relatively flat profile underneath. It also works to protect vital components while off-road. In addition to the wide variety of suspension adjustments, there's also a host of other electronic assist features that include hill descent control, gradient release control, hill start assist, dynamic stability control, electronic traction control, and roll stability control. The Range Rover is available with 11 different alloy wheel designs ranging from 19 to 22 inches in diameter. Our tester features the 20-inch Style 502 5-split spoke wheels, wrapped in 255/55 tires at each corner. Brakes consist of 4-wheel internally ventilated discs measuring 15 by 1.3 inches in front, paired with Brembo 6-piston fixed calipers, and 14.4 by 1 inch in the rear with single-piston sliding calipers. With this setup, average stops from 60 miles an hour are achieved in around 120 feet. As far as the suspension is constructed primarily from aluminum and doubly isolated, consisting of a fully adjustable and adaptive air ride setup as we touched on earlier, with independent double wishbones in front and a multi-link rear design with adaptive dampers. The Range Rover drives like a completely different vehicle compared to the Sport, which is geared towards better handling, a firmer ride, and enhanced agility. Out of the luxury SUVs I've driven in recent time, including the BMW X5 and Cadillac Escalade, the Range Rover rode the best. The best way I can describe it is that it feels like a tall luxury sedan, exhibiting that floaty ride quality that makes highway drives a blissful experience. Of course, it doesn't handle as well as the Sport when pushed harder, but that's what distinguishes them and makes them unique. If I were to buy one, I'd still buy a Sport Supercharged for the simple fact that I like that extra dynamism that comes with it. If comfort and relaxation are your priority, the Range Rover will never disappoint. Overall length is 196.8 inches with a width of 78.1 inches, mirrors folded, and height is 72.3 inches. Wheelbase is 115 inches, while total curb weight for our tester is around 4,839 pounds. Land Rover introduced the supercharged 3-liter V6 to the Range Rover lineup back in 2014 as a replacement for the naturally aspirated 5-liter V8. It was down by 35 horsepower and 43 pound-feet of torque compared to the V8, but returned 10% better fuel economy. For the 2015 model year, the V6 still makes up the standard power plant in the HSE, developing 340 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. All of the supercharged V8s I've driven lately from Jaguar and Land Rover have been fantastic, very dynamic and raw sounding. The V6 is a little bit quieter, more mellow in this application compared to the F-Type S I just tested. It doesn't have quite the aggressive growl, but still delivers great performance and fuel economy in the Range Rover. However, the 2016 HSE benefits from more power to the tune of 380 at 6,500 RPM and 339 pound-feet of torque between 3,500 and 5,000 RPM, basically the same tune as the F-Type S. The V6 features dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, direct fuel injection, dual independent variable valve timing, and a compression ratio of 10.5 to 1. The Roots Type Twin Vortex Supercharger is nestled between the cylinder banks and delivers up to 27.6 psi of boost in the 380 horsepower variant or 25.4 psi of boost in the 340 horsepower variant, the latter of which can now only be had in the entry Range Rover for 2016. Another new option for 2016 is a 3-liter turbo diesel V6 that develops 254 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque at 1,750 RPM. That engine can be had in either the entry model or the HSE, can hit 60 miles an hour in 7.4 seconds, and deliver an average fuel economy of around 25 miles to a gallon, making for an intriguing choice if you're looking for better performance while towing without sacrificing fuel economy. Of course, the V8 is just another animal, and I've covered it in great detail during my reviews of the Range Rover Sport and Sport SVR. Those links can be found via the link in the upper right-hand corner of the video. As far as fuel economy, the Range Rover is fitted with a 23.5-gallon tank and requires premium fuel. A standard auto start-stop feature is said to increase economy by around 5%. With this in mind, EPA estimates range between 17 miles to a gallon in the city and 23 on the highway, averaging around 19 miles to a gallon. After getting to experience the Sport on 2 different occasions, this was a wonderful and welcomed opportunity to finally get some extended seat time in Land Rover's flagship. As expected in any top-end model, the Range Rover takes luxury and passenger comfort to a whole new level of quality, much improved with the latest generation thanks to a cleaner, simpler, and more elegant design. I've said it before, but these interiors are some of the nicest you'll find in this class. Very elegant, sorta old school in a way, and decidedly British. It offers so much in terms of premium features, appointments, and customizability that it would take forever to try to list them all here. Everywhere you touch, you're greeted by the softest leathers and padded material alongside genuine metals and woods. Compared to the Sport, overall styling and ergonomics are quite similar yet subtly different, more traditional and less sporty. For example, the alternate steering wheel, a lower, less angled center console, and more upright, less bolstered seating. The dash also incorporates more wood and polished trim, while the front doors gain exclusive storage cabinets across the midsections and, of course, more wood. The Range Rover's front seats coddle you like a high-end luxury sedan. They're still firm but less firm than the Sport, offering more long-term comfort and excellent support. The HSE features 16-way power adjustment, including 4-way power lumbar and adjustable side bolsters. 20-way adjustable seats are available in higher trim levels along with massage features. The perforated leather also provides proper ventilation for the heating and cooling features. The headrests and seatbelts are adjustable. You have aluminum door sill entry guards and logoed all-weather floor mats. The steering wheel is power tilting telescoping and is heated in our tester. The two-tone color scheme is an option. The driving position really is awesome. I mean, it's a big vehicle, much bigger feeling than the Sport. Very commanding going down the road. The black headliner is optional and you have a standard glass roof. The glass roof can be had two different ways, either the sliding sunroof option we have here or a fixed one-piece glass roof. With the full-size Range Rover, you also get a split glove box on the passenger side with a unique upper portion in addition to the lower portion, offering even more storage space. The passenger seat features all of the power adjustments like you find in the front. Again, attention to detail is fantastic, very sumptuous environment. So let's go ahead and see how she sounds. So we're going to shut her up. Nice soft closing doors. So we've talked a lot about available audio systems in my previous Range Rover videos, but this one's equipped with the 825 watt Meridian system, a fantastic sounding setup, but there are more powerful ones available. Routed through an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with touch-sensitive controls to either side, standard Bluetooth, satellite radio, iPod integration, navigation, adjustable ambient lighting, and so much more. The most important thing you need to take away from this interior is that aside from the styling and dimensional changes like we talked about earlier, the optional features, control placements, and how to work everything is identical between this and the Range Rover Sport. So if you want to see all of that a little bit more in depth, again, click the link in the top right hand corner of the video to be taken to those reviews. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and shut her down. And we'll check out the back seat. Right now I have the Range Rover set at its normal height setting, and honestly climbing into the back seat really isn't too hard. There's a little bit of a step up height, but to make that easier, obviously you just lower it into the access height like we talked about earlier. Obviously, like you've seen with my previous Range Rover Sport videos, the interior environment is absolutely fantastic, especially with this Oxford leather. It's beautiful quality. You have the perforations across the middle, double accent stitching, and the seats just have a nice overall design to them. They're also pretty comfortable. I mean, they're definitely on the firmer side. There's not a whole lot of lateral support, but they're very supportive. I'm 5'10" with a comfortable seating position for myself up front. I easily have, I'd say 4.5, 5 inches of leg space roughly, and maybe 2.5 inches of headspace right here. Obviously a whole lot more with the panoramic glass roof. You can sit a third person right here. There's not a big drivetrain hump. The center console extends into the back a little bit, but not too much. I don't expect that to be a hindrance at all, because actually where you have extra thigh support in the outer cushions, the middle portion actually cuts in a little bit right here, so technically it's offset as far as trying to preserve the same amount of leg space than you would on the outer portions. The outer headrests are adjustable, the middle one is fixed, and if you pull this down, you have a padded leather center console with 2 cup holders and a bit of storage space. If you grab the lever on the outer portion of the bottom cushion, you can recline the seat. It's pretty adjustable, and you can also use that same thing to fold it forward for extra cargo space, which I'll show when we get to the trunk portion, so you can rake it back if you're on a long trip and relax. Other notable features include leather-wrapped grip handles up here, coat hooks up there, as well as on the B-pillars, LED illumination, not to mention Bluetooth microphones for either side so all the passengers can be heard equally. You have a little bit of storage in the bottom door panel here, 2 storage pockets here, 12-volt power outlets, another small storage tray where you can put like a phone or an iPod or such. There's actually a little aluminum Range Rover tag right there, which is a nice touch. This one obviously features the quad zone climate control system, so you have independent temperature adjustment for the rear occupants, not to mention 1-touch automatic and 3-stage heated seats for the outer portions. But that's about it, so let's go ahead and check out the cargo space out back. Out back, you'll find that a fully powered split tailgate comes standard, opening up to reveal a generous amount of cargo space and versatility. With the rear seats in place, you can load up to 32.1 cubic feet of cargo. You'll need to fold down the seats and remove the retractable privacy cover in order to take full advantage of the Range Rover's larger dimensions. Max volume is 82.8 cubic feet, which is about 20 cubic feet more than the Sport. The cargo area is lined in plush carpeting with an all-weather mat, illuminated by bright LEDs, and features a 12-volt power outlet. Cargo tie-downs can be used to prevent items from sliding around, otherwise an adjustable luggage barrier is available. A full-size spare tire can be found underneath the load floor. Unlike the Sport, the Range Rover does not have a third row 5+2 seating option. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the Range Rover HSE. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.